brother. So this man said him and his brother were twins, and he said everyone made a difference between them. Parents, teachers, anyone who was ever around called him the good twin and his brother the evil twin. When they were 9 years old, he said his brother hit a teacher in the head with a rock, and the teacher started to bleed. Now, naturally, someone would be like, oh my goodness, you're bleeding. I hit you. I hurt you. He said his brother seemed to enjoy it, and he just sat there and smiled. They're now teenagers, and he said when he got home, something happened. He still to this day does not know what his brother did, but he did hear his brother tell their father, I can unalive you right now. He said when his brother told his father that, his father knocked him to the ground, something crazy. Like he hit him so hard, he hit the floor. And as soon as the brother did get up, he stormed out the house, and they didn't see him until the next day. Throughout adulthood, his brother got into so much trouble. No one could get him on the right path, no matter how hard they tried. He stayed in jail. He even went to prison. There was a lot. He and his brother, they spoke often, but they didn't see each other often. His brother did reach out to him and said, I want to come visit you. I want to meet your, kids. I want to meet your wife. And he said, oh, yeah, sure. That's fine. So his twin comes. He's excited. They're excited he's there. And they set up the guest room for him. Fast forward, his brother told him, I'm going to step out. He was really out graping a woman. He followed her home, forced his way into her house, and graped her. Now, the husband was close to home. He ended up coming home. He saw what the twin was doing to his wife, and he unalived him. The man notices that his brother is not in the guest room, but he thinks to himself, he's a grown man. He'll call me if he needs me. He ended up getting a call from the police. The police have him come down. They want to talk to him. Detectives want to talk to him. And there were so many steps after that. He had to identify his body and everything. A couple days later, he's in his room. He said he's about to walk to his closet. Now, when he opened the closet door, he said he felt nothing but crazy heat. He said it felt so hot. It's almost like he was on fire. When he looks into the closet, he said there was fire everywhere and hands reaching out. He heard his brother's voice, and the voice was saying, help me. He started looking around because he knows for a fact, he knows his brother's voice. He closed the closet. He said he sat down on the bed for a second just to collect his thoughts, and he waited for his wife to come up because he wanted to talk to her about what just happened. When his wife did come upstairs, she was able to just fall right to sleep. He couldn't sleep, so he was pretty much staring at the ceiling. He could feel himself dozing off, but he said right as he was dozing off, he could feel something moving at the foot of his bed. His brother is standing at the foot of the bed, and he said that he looked like his brother, but he didn't feel like his brother. His eyes were lifeless, and he looked terrible. The son wakes up. He said that he's screaming for him and his wife, but his wife is still asleep. He wakes up. He runs in the room to see what's going on, and his son tells him, Uncle was in my room, and he kept trying to get me to hold his hand, and I didn't want to hold his hand. He brings his son back to the room with him. He walks over to the closet, and while he's walking over to the closet, he gets this burning sensation on his leg. And so he pulls his pajama legs up, and he said that he saw a handprint around his leg. He thought he must be going crazy. He rubbed his eyes, he blinked a few times, and he looks back down at his leg, and there's no handprint anymore. He walks up to his closet. There are no clothes, no shoes. He said all there is darkness. He sees his brother standing in the darkness, and he sees hands reaching out, grabbing at his brother. Now he says his brother is screaming out, I don't want to go. Please help me. And before he knew it, his brother just disappeared into the darkness.
Welcome back, my beautiful souls. My name is Cheryl, and this is Ritual and Remedy. Now, I hope you really enjoyed this story as much as I did. I came across this amazing creator a while back in her story. She's got loads of stories on her page. You should all go and follow her. She's absolutely amazing, and I love her stuff. Yep, so when I listened to the story the first time, I totally thought, this guy is a total menace. He's lived his life being horrid and totally got exactly what he deserved. He got what he was looking for, basically. And of course, like most cowards, he didn't want to face the music. But for some reason, I kept going back over the video and kept thinking about their childhood. Now, of course, they were twins, so I doubt that there could be any real favoritism between them. Well, obviously until the other twins started becoming, more of a handful and evil or whatever. So I kept thinking, what could cause these two twins, brothers, their paths to diverge so differently? So then it dawned on me that just because they're twins doesn't mean necessarily that they're the same person. So you could have one that's more outgoing, more social, more accepted. You could have another that's quite withdrawn, quite quiet, keep to themselves, maybe a bit insecure. It could be any little thing. And then Spirit kind of showed me that this is how people can form a spiritual attachment with random, I won't say demons, but with random spirits that do not want to pass on. Now, have you watched videos of people who have undergone hypnotherapy? And while they're under hypnosis, the person that's in the chair will literally start talking in a different voice. Like it could be a woman with a deep, scary man voice, refusing to leave this person's body because they, as a spirit, have inhabited that person's body. And because they're not supposed to be there, it's causing blockages for the vessels there. So in some cases, when we have those irrational fears and traumas where we have no idea where they came from, spirit showing me that in a lot of cases, it's these sort of attachments. So now, just imagine you're a spirit. You come to Earth to have this beautiful human experience to see what life's like on Earth and to learn lessons, etc. So when you come here, due to all the systems put in place, for example, religion, sexism, discrimination, etc. Due to those systems, you do not rise above it and become the best version of yourself. Instead, you decide to, follow the crowd and get with the program. So maybe you have kids early and, you just overall, at the end of your life, you are left unfulfilled. So that regret, that heavy trauma there can block you from wanting to move on. You might want to stick around and, you know, see what your family's doing. You might want to live through a family member experience what you never got to. But that's a whole different conversation. So I'll leave that right there. Well, what I do believe is the young boy, in fact, may have picked up a bad attachment. Maybe something more bordering on demonic. Because if we do not keep our vibration high, our households spiritually aligned and blessed, then these are the things we can have floating around and that can attach to our children. Yep, so Spirit was showing me that by not being aligned with some sort of spirituality or if, standing in your authority, your home can become a breeding ground for these sort of spirits, because we've got to remember it's not just spirits that are low vibrational. It could be our friends, family members, teachers who teach our children. It can be other children in the class. So regular cleansing and protection of your space, your whole, your children, your car is imperative. As divine feminine energies, it's up to us to set the tone, the spiritual tone for our homes. Once we start moving with intention and call upon our power within, using our God-given spiritual authority, nothing that's not of our highest good can penetrate that. I really need my divine feminines to start healing themselves so they can become better protectors, spiritual guardians of their children, of our kids, of our home, and our spouses. And I know in this day and age, us women do have a lot of things that we are juggling. Most of us are the providers or co-providers, and we have our kids and we have a lot of things going on. But I promise you, if you start cleansing and protecting your home, you will see your burdens lift. Whatever you're finding hard to manage, start working through them with your spiritual team. Start co-creating with spirit. You will see a lot of the tensions and a lot of the stresses that we're carrying will start to lift. Yep, so let me know if you do regularly cleanse and protect. What are your methods? And if you don't, then what's stopping you? Let me know and we'll chop it up together. Thank you.